Welcome back, guys. Today's video is on common multiples. We'll learn the meaning of common multiples and then we'll learn how to find common multiples of two or more numbers. Let's dig in. Common multiples are numbers that are multiples of two or more numbers. That sounds like a bit of a mouthful, but as we go on to solve the examples, I'm sure you understand better what common multiples mean. So basically, if you're asked to find the common multiples of two or more numbers, what you are being asked to do is to find those numbers that are multiples of those two numbers. For example, we have multiples of 4 and multiples of 6 on our screen. To find the common multiples of these two numbers, we're going to look at the line of multiples and then find which numbers appear on both lines. We see that we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40 as the first 10 multiples of 4. We also have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and 60 as the first 10 multiples of 6. So looking at the both lines of multiples, what numbers can we see occurring or appearing on both lines? And I think that the first number that we can see is 12. We have 12 here and we have 12 here as well. Now look at the numbers before 12 on the first line. We have 4 and we have 8. 4 and 8 are both multiples of 4, but they are not multiples of 6. So therefore, they are not common multiples of 4 and 6. But 12 is a common multiple because 12 is a multiple of 4 and 12 is also a multiple of 6. So what I like to do is when I identify my common multiples, I just go ahead and give it a circle it like this. So it's easy for me to identify when I'm making the list. So we have 12 there, and let's look at for our next common multiple. So that would be 24. We have 24 here, and we have 24 here as well. So 24 is a common multiple of 4 and 6. And what would be our next common multiple? Inspecting both lines, you can see we have 36 here and 36 here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and circle 36 and circle 36. So from the list of multiples that we have written, first 10 of each of the numbers, I think that these are all the common multiples that we can identify. So let's go ahead and write them out. So we're going to say, so therefore, common multiples of 4 and 6 are, and then we'll list out the ones we've circled. We have 12, 24, 36. And we finish that with 3 dots to indicate that these are not all the common multiples of both numbers, and that if we continue to list more multiples, we can also find more common multiples. And just as a little hint, guys, if you notice, you can see a pattern here. We have 12, 24, 36. If you are familiar with your multiplication table, you can already tell that the list of common multiples is also a list of multiples. So the first multiple we have here is 12. Automatically, the list of common multiples of 4 and 6 will be multiples of 12. So with that hint I just gave to you, can you guess what the next common multiple of 4 and 6 will be? If you guessed 48, you guessed right. So if I continue to extend the list of multiples of 4 and the list of multiples of 6, we are going to find 48 here And you can already see 48 here as well. So that's going to be the next common multiple between 4 and 6. So let's go ahead and do other examples of common multiples. So we've got one here. Find the common multiples of the following numbers. And the first example we have here is 4 and 5. So what we are going to do here is that we're going to make a list of the multiples of 4. And then we'll also make a list of the multiples of 5. And we'll try to identify the common multiples between both of them. So let's get right into it. The multiples of 4 here, we'll have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. I think we're just going to make do with the first 10 multiples here as well. Let's list the multiples of 5. We'll have 5, 10, 15, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Okay, there we have the first 10 multiples of 5 as well. Now we're going to look at the list of multiples of 4 and the list of multiples of 5. And then we can identify the common multiples. And looking at the list here and the list here, the first common multiple we're going to have between 4 and 5 is 20. Now I'm going to go ahead and circle it. We have 20 here as well. And then we continue to observe and we see that the next common multiple we're going to have is 40. And from the list of multiples that we know, these are all the common multiples that we can identify. So I'm just going to go ahead with my summary and say, so therefore, the common multiples of 4 and 5 are 20, 40, and by now, you should be able to guess what the next common multiple will be as well from the hint I gave you in the last example. So here is another example for us. Find the common multiples of 12 and 15. And just like we did in the previous example, we're going to go ahead and list the multiples of 12 and also list the multiples of 15. And then we're going to identify their common multiples as well. So I'm going to start all the way over here to make sure I have enough room to list at least the first 10 multiples. So multiples of 12, we're going to have 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108, and 120. Let's do the same for 15. We'll list the multiples. We have 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, 135, and 150. Okay, we managed that real well. And these are the first 10 multiples of 15. So let's observe our list of multiples and identify our common multiples as well. So looking at the list, list of multiples we have here, we can see that our first common multiple is going to be 60. I think I'm just going to underline that. We have 60 here, and we have 60 here. And then our next common multiple between 12 and 15 is going to be 120. So I think that's it clearly. That's all the common multiples that we have between 12 and 15 from the list of multiples that we have made. So as always, we're going to say, so therefore, common multiples of 12 and 15 are 60, 120, and so on and so forth. And I always encourage my students to write out this conclusion the way I always do. It just makes it look like you know what it is that you're doing. So don't just underline the common multiples and go, or circle the common multiples and go. Write them out so that anybody looking at it can just easily know your common multiples. And we have one last example. And in this particular example, we have three numbers to find their common multiples. And we're going to go ahead and solve it as well. We'll go about it the same way we did when we had two numbers. So we're going to list the multiples of 3. We'll list the multiples of 6. And then we'll also list the multiples of 9. For this example, I'm going to be listing the first 12 multiples instead of the first 10 multiples. And I think when we start identifying the common multiples, you will know why I decided to do that. So for the multiples of 3, we're going to have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 27, 30, 33, and 36. So there you have the first 12 multiples of 3. Let's do the same for 6. We're going to have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, and 72. Okay, just trying to manage the space there. And then let's do for 9. 9 times table is one interesting table, and there's a trick to it. So you have 9, you have 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 81, 90, 99, and 108. Okay, so those are the multiples of all the three numbers. We've listed them. And now we're going to identify the common multiples between the three numbers. You have to be very careful when dealing with common multiples of three numbers because, for example, look at 12. 12 is a multiple of 3 and 12 is a multiple of 6. But 12 is not a multiple of 9. Therefore, we cannot underline or circle 12 here as a common multiple. The same thing goes for 9. 9 is a multiple of 3, and of course 9 is a multiple of itself, 9 as well. But 9 is not a multiple of 6, so we cannot highlight 9 as a common multiple in this case. Whatever number we decide to pick as a common multiple must be common to all three numbers So the first common multiple that we can identify here will be 18. You can see that we have 18 here, we have 18 here, and we have 18 here as well. So that's going to be the first common multiple. And our second common multiple is going to be 36. We have 36 here, we have 36 here, and we have 36 here as well. And this is the reason why I decided to do the first 12 multiples instead of the first 10 multiples, so that we can have at least 2 common multiples for these 3 numbers. So that's the much we can get for these 3 numbers from the list of multiples that we have. Of course, you know that if we continue to list more multiples, we are definitely going to arrive at more common multiples. So let's go ahead and do a summary here. We're going to say, so therefore, the common multiples of 3, 6, and 9 are 18, 36. Let me just going to put 3 dots here, of course, to indicate that that's where we stop for now, and there could be more. So that's it, guys. That's our lesson on common multiples. And as always, I've got a little bit of classwork for you to try. And feel free to submit that to the email mathswithmrspace@gmail.com. I'm very happy to look at them, go over them, grade them, and send them back to you. So that's a lesson on common multiples. If you enjoyed this class and if you properly understood it, please go ahead and watch the next one in the series, Common Multiples. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Please do well to like, share, subscribe, or follow our page and turn on our notification button so you will know when we post a new video. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.